But storming eroded landscapes has become a major issue in African countries. We will be showing you the solution one region in South Africa has come up with, and it's making the people there happier. Welcome to Eco Africa. My name is Neo Taigbe from the Lufasi Park in Lagos, Nigeria. And hello to my beautiful colleague Felicia Endersby in Johannesburg.
Hello everybody. Hi Auntie. Today we'll be presenting more good ideas, committed people and interesting projects focused on nature and the environment. Here's what's coming up on the show today. What would Kenya's cattle herders do without their mobile phone apps? For one thing, they'd have less water for their animals. Would you put an oil drum in your living room? That's not unusual in Cameroon. And can corn cob briquettes help protect forests? Yes, they can. They are already doing so in Uganda. Here in South Africa, intensive livestock grazing is degrading the soil in many areas. Heat waves and droughts are compounding the problem, leaving many areas barren. If the animals can't find food, people's livelihoods are under threat. To stop the land turning into a desert, some farmers in the Eastern Cape are switching from raising goats to growing plants, such as lavender and rosemary, to produce essential oils. They require very little water and can be farmed on an area much smaller than that needed for goats. Eco Africa went out to see how this works.
Rosemary, a herb that prefers sunny and dry locations. Its value lies in the plant's tips, where precious ethereal oil collects a high-quality resource for the cosmetics and pharmaceuticals industries. Farmer William van Rensburg is nervous. This is his first harvest, and the future of the whole valley depends on this crop.
Aanhoudende konstante kleinveeboerdery.
Constant small stock farming and limited space simply became too much for our land, so we need to find other means of income, and that is why we look at this kind of thing, so we can continue with our livestock together with our oil.
Nog steeds met ons kleinvee of met die vee kan boer saam met die olies.
Farmers here keep Angora goats whose mohair wool is a luxury item in the clothing industry. With more and more goats, however, the local vegetation has been eaten away. A thick, green, bushy vegetation once covered these slopes. Now the barren wasteland holds no water and no life. Daniel Forey manages the Bavians Kloof Development Company. Together with Van Rensburg and other farmers, he leads the transition from exploitative livestock farming to organic essential oil crops. The oils are extracted in this distillery.
The essential oils, you take a lot of plant material and you distill it to a very small amount of product that you can easily transport in and out of the kloof. And in that way we reduce the amount of material that we take out of this system, and all the plant material, once it's been distilled, can actually go back into the fields, go back into the system. We can use that to make our compost. It's a high value crop that you need less land to work with.
The more efficient land use is making a difference. Whereas goats need extended grazing areas, the essential oil crops are exclusively cultivated on the fertile floor of the valley. That way the slopes have time to recover. Farmer Peter Kruger once used his entire 6,000 hectares for grazing. Today he cultivates a mere 20 hectares of rosemary for the same return. He sold his goats and most of his farm has been declared a nature reserve. Forey hopes other farmers will follow Kruger's example.
The biggest part of it is actually to change the mindset of the farmers, to change the way that they've been doing something for the last 40 years. We bring courage to the farmers to make that shift from extractive to regenerative farming practices.
The God-free slopes are slowly recovering. The Living Lands organization helps the farmers rejuvenate their land. Here on the completely degraded slope that was once grazed bare, Otto Bukes and his team worked hard to protect every single tree. Thorn bushes keep the goats away, while canvas walls collect rainwater and hold the precious soil. Beneath the thorns, new hope is sprouting.
You know, we are starting to see changes, even at a small scale. We've just gone through one of the worst droughts in over 100 years. And despite that, we are seeing positive changes in the ecosystem.
It was a leap of faith for all involved. Van Rensburg had to buy a new irrigation system for over 65,000 euros, but the first batch of rosemary looks promising, and he's sure his investment will soon pay out. A Spanish buyer has already ordered the first Bavian's clove rosemary harvest. If the quality matches expectations, the farmers can sell their organic oil for 80 euros a litre, boosting their revenue per hectare more than 100-fold.
I love apps. They're such fun and they're so useful. They tell you what the weather is going to be, they help you to stay fit, and you can chat with your friends whenever you like. Don't you agree, Auntie?
You bet, Felicia. I absolutely agree. And some apps really make your life a lot easier. That's certainly true for herders in Kenya. They roam all over the country with their cattle to look for food and water. Now, there is a great new app to help them do just that.
Camels on their way to graze. Until recently, that's involved a lot of usually random searching. But now a new app helps herders locate the best pasture. The AfriScout app uses real-time satellite images.
Now we can get to grass without walking long distances. And we're leaving the water point and going home earlier now, because we knew where the better pasture was.
Further north, close to the Kenya-Ethiopia border, conflicts have long raged over grazing land here. Now the pastoralists have come up with a joint grazing plan, and the app has helped them to coordinate better.
It helps also to reduce livestock mortality, especially during the dry season, because they have got access to information which will help them make better decisions than before. Before they used to move to a place, maybe just looking for water and pasture, you know, without any planning.
The AfriScout app was created by the international NGO Project Concern International, or PCI. They say their digital assistant has reduced livestock mortality by almost 50%. The Maasai in southern Kenya also benefit from the app as they move their large herds through the savanna there. Pastoralists have traditionally grazed their livestock in regions where wild animals live. Global warming and an increase in human populations have made conflicts with wildlife even more intense. For pastoralist Joel Keloi, the new app has helped to reduce dangerous encounters by mapping areas that are risky for his animals.
If there are lions in any particular area, we move to a safer place where there are no lions. The app even shows us where there's a lot of green grass as well as areas where there is no grass at all. It helps us identify good spots just by using a phone and without leaving home. The costs are lower now. Everything's more convenient. It's helped us a lot.
PCI is sending instructors into Maasai villages to explain how to best use the app. By encouraging planned grazing patterns, the system helps protect the land from overgrazing.
So through the AfriScout application, pastoralists are able to see how the rangelands are looking like, and in that way they can only move their livestock to places where the forage has rejuvenated enough and avoid the areas that have been degraded. And by avoiding the areas that have been degraded, they give these spaces a time to rejuvenate.
The AfriScout app is also being tested in Ethiopia and Tanzania. helping herdsmen there to better care for their animals and the environment.
It's real cool how digitalization is preserving grazing reserves and helping people earn a living. But here's another fantastic idea, a way to avoid just throwing away old metals and making something new and valuable out of them. 26-year-old Halilu Idris trained as a petroleum engineer but couldn't find a job. So it was somehow fitting that he found a way to repurpose old oil drums. This week's Doing Your Bit comes from Cameroon.
Halilu Idris graduated as a petroleum engineer, but hasn't found work yet. So the 26-year-old needed to find a different source of income. That's why he checks out old oil drums in his hometown Bamenda, Cameroon's third largest city. The drums are made of metal, but there's no organised recycling here. So Halilu buys this one cheaply and takes it home. Hopefully nothing will fall out of the car before he gets there. Then the hard work begins. What's this supposed to be? A table for a romantic candlelit dinner? Wait until Halilu's finished. That can take up to 2 days' work. The finished product in all its beauty. Price, roughly €75. Halilu can actually make 2 chairs out of 1 old drum.
Do you like that? If you are also doing your bit, tell us about it. Visit our website or send us a tweet. #DoingYourBit. We share your stories.